Hello teachers, this is a short video to show you how to use the Phonics Diagnostic Score Sheet. So if you'll notice along the tabs at the bottom here, the first tab is called Students, then Total Score, and then there are 31 additional tabs, each labeled Student 1, 2, 3, and so forth through Student 31. Okay, I'm on the Students tab right now. Besides entering the check boxes for students getting words right, this is the only page that you're going to enter information on. So one way to enter the information is to click here and say to enter in your students' names. And the way to do that quickly is to just copy them from your student roster. I copied them from this teacher's student roster. I pasted it in there. Whoops, I don't want to paste it that way. I'm going to paste special values only so that I maintain the color scheme. And now I've pasted in all of those names. It was one copy and paste action. As soon as I do that and I look at total score, notice how those names automatically populate along the top here. Now under total score, I can scroll down and see the total scores for all the students, and notice the students' names are at the top. All of these student scores are 0 because, well, we haven't done any diagnostics on them. But the diagnostics can be tasks 1 through 10. Let's say that Dominic is going to be the first student that we do a diagnostic on. We'll do the diagnostic, and perhaps he answers these questions correctly, or he reads these words correctly. And let's say that I click those and then he reads these words correctly, and I realize that he's doing pretty well on this test. So I move on to the next test. Again, he's doing very well here, getting most of them right. And again, here he does most of them correctly. I'm clicking to give them. And then over here, he does less well. Okay, let's say now I've decided at this point on task 5 that he is done. So I then say to myself, all right, I'm going to stop this assessment. All right, now that I've done this with Dominic, notice on the total score sheet, here's Dominic. He's student number 1. And it's showing us that he got 90%, 80%, 90%, 70%, and then 30%. So we know that his instructional level is task 5, which means that he's struggling with silent E. So what does this information tell us? It just tells us something about Dominic, that he needs some phonics work working on silent E. All right. Why? If I wanted to do this again for another student, it would be the exact same process, going to George Atuna, who is student 2. So I'll go to student 2. And again, I'll do the same thing. I'll start, maybe George is going to start at a higher level. And I'll click in here and say, all right, George, you're doing a really good job here. He got most of these right, and he got most of these right as well. And then he moves on possibly to task 7 and does less well. And now I go back and say to myself, all right, I'm done assessing him because he's getting less than half of those correct. Go back and look at total score again. And you'll notice that now I have data for Dominic showing that he has 90, 80, 90, 70, 30, and 30. And I also have data for George showing that he has 90, 80, 40, and 30. So now I know that George's instructional level is advanced consonants, and that's where he's going to need some phonics support. All right, you can continue to do that for all of the students that you have up here. Also want to emphasize this. If you want assistance doing these assessments, then we can arrange for the impact subs to assist you in several different ways. Again, there's only 2 ways you need to interact by entering data into this form. The first way is to enter your student names right here. I recommend copying and pasting from your roster. If you have trouble doing that, let me know and I'll do it for you. And then the only other thing you have to do, because this automatically populates, both the names along the top here and the names that are attached to each of these sheets. The only other thing you have to do besides copying and pasting your student names is to choose the correct student. So in this case, it would be George, or in this case, it would be Ava, and then do the assessment. The assessment itself should take you maybe 10, 15 minutes, perhaps less, depending on how accurately you start off. All right, I hope this helped. If you need help doing this, I'm glad to demonstrate it once with your students, or I can copy and paste your rosters for you. Yay. All right, thank you very much.